Welcome to the Hard Truth Show. Guys, it has been a minute since we've all talked together. Shout out to everybody that's not been able to be in the building for a bit because that I have been out in the wild blue yonder, took some time off because I just got married, and it has been a nice relaxation. I noticed right as soon as I went to leave, a little bit of upkick of things in life and on the back end, but otherwise the middle of it was at least wonderful. Now, before I go into the content today, just so we can bring everybody up to speed, I know people have asked questions about the Restoring the Foundations conference. Is it still going on? Have we got to do this? We got to do that? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm need no disrespect to everybody. I just know because of all the corona stuff, we have to go through all the blah, 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 blah anymore. Yes, it's still on. And matter of fact, the convention center told me that because we'd already handed out tickets, through Eventbrite and all that, that if we have to have more space to accommodate because of the social distancing space in the building, that they're going to take care of us. So that's still good. Just want to lay that all out there for everybody that has concerns, because I want everybody that wants to attend, as long as there's tickets, by all means, come on out, guys. This conversation that I'm going to have with this tonight, I want you to understand that this is not me just venting frustration. I see this more and more now than I ever have in my life. Okay, I just want to reiterate that. There is a book out. It's called Snitch Culture, I believe is the name of it. And I think the writer, Jim, gosh, I can't think of the guy's name right now. I've got it wrote down. I'll put it in the video description below because it is a great book. People's rated on Amazon almost 5 stars. Guys, this really details out a lot of what I'm going into tonight. I'll just leave that little caveat if you want to go check that out. And as y'all can tell, I like to read. And I noticed another thing is a recent video I talked about is that now I had the copy of it, Joel Skousen's Strategic Relocation. Apparently a bunch of y'all went to go get a copy of that book. And now it's so many sold out that it's just down to PDF version. So, hey, at least that's better than nothing, just saying. But I guess I'm going to go in reverse tonight. Because I've got, if you looked at the title, snitches, we're living in the culture now. Snitches, the Karens, and the Sheeple culture. That's what we're living in nowadays. And people that don't think this is a reality, this is going to be the reality for us for a long time to come. This kind of stuff, if this doesn't get your blood boiling to the point where you have to go and literally pray later and ask the Father forgive you because you were angry with your brother, because these type of scenarios and stuff that goes on in this world anymore, it is getting to be more and more and more. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the snitches for last. I'm going to do the Karens in the middle, and I'm going to start with the sheep culture first, all right? And one last note is the next pre-record video, guys, because I'm going to get back to doing live, so I'm just trying to catch some stuff up now. I'm back to the studio. But the next pre-record is going to be about the RFID hand scanners now that are starting to pop out in the public, because people are starting to get that info out there, and I want to share this to you, because I want you to understand that it's just like the frog boiling in the water. It's not you throw the frog into a scalding hot pan all of a sudden. It is a slow progression of heat until you've fully cooked that frog, okay? And that's the effect that's going on in our world right now. All right, well, with that said, I want to shout out to D Marble. If y'all haven't checked him out, great flat earth content. You can check him out here on YouTube. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters that are awoke and know that we live on a geostationary flat earth under a firmament dome the Most High Yah has made. D Marble shared this, and you should see this pop up on the screen here just shortly. Pretty much that it declares that our rights not to have to wear a mask. And he used this successfully in his recent travels in air flight to where he was going. And I shout out to him, like I said, for sharing this information, because now I'm in a pickle. With Delta, I've got tickets to go do a job out in California for a customer. Now they've changed all these rules and regulations. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to deal with none of this drama. I don't want to participate in this current sheeple culture and this madness. So, I'm in a tight spot because I made a covenant with a customer. I'm going to go do a work for him, took deposit on the job, and now here I am stuck having to deal with the space seating in the flight and have to wear a mask and all this BS drama. So this is a big help for those that don't want to participate in it. But you got to understand something. We live in a sheeple culture. I literally told my wife recently that, matter of fact, I've told you guys on here too, is that we live in a culture now where that for one woke person, and when I say woke, now that could be a multitude of things. That could be everything from religious woke to seeing the wickedness in high places with all the satanic pedophilia and murderous leaders and all the crazy crap we have in this world. It could be from flat earth. It could just be this whole spectrum of woke, right? Like woke worldly things, woke into the truth, just the whole spectrum, right? And for every one of that type person, there is 10 that are completely asleep at the wheel. Or is like the Matrix, what was it, like Neo and them was having a conversation and he said to him that, these people will fight hopelessly to defend the system that has got them slaves or whatever, something like that. The conversation that was in the first Matrix movie. Well, anyway, when I was the other day, I had stopped the rest area coming back from Florida, and I counted people coming through. I was just trying to get a head count on them, and about for every one person that didn't have a mask on, there was probably 10 that did. 10 that did. And that is sad. That is so sad because it is even being told now that wearing a mask can make you sick. Like, this doesn't really protect against COVID. And my thing is if you continue to look around, it seems like COVID is the only thing that'll kill you nowadays. That's it. Like, dude, don't even worry about heart disease, cancer, nothing. It's just COVID, Rona 19. And that is, to me, it's just, I've never seen times like this in my entire life. Like, I keep talking to my elders and asking, am I crazy? Am I overthinking it? And they're like, we've never seen anything like this before. And so these are people that have seen many, many decades of life. And so I'm just like, the fact that they're staying in agreement with where I'm coming from on this tells me something's not right. And we are literally living in a sheep culture to the point where that Delta Airlines, the reason I continue to bring this up is I seen Daryl's situation with, like I said, go to D Marble on YouTube, check that out, right? And also shout out to him for the info there that I just shared about how you don't have to wear that if you don't want to. That'll protect you from that. But if you look on the flip side of things, I was reading in Delta's information, and it pretty much said that you were required to wear a mask except for children, infants, and if you couldn't wear a mask or something like that. So it literally says you have to, but then way down here in fine print, it's like, well, if you pretty much can express to us you can't wear it, you don't have to wear it. The system is dependent upon you being ignorant. The system is dependent upon you being compliant. The system is dependent upon you submitting to their demands. That's it. And the flip side of that is now you have people that's like this this free state thing that they're trying to set up in Washington State down in the capital area there. That right there is madness. That's a mess. See, there's like there's a thin red line down the middle of like where we should be in protesting this stuff, and it's like you've got this way over here, then you've got the madness in Washington State right now, and there's somewhere down the middle that needs to be, and so I'm going to use this certificate whenever I go to fly to California. I guess I'm going to submit that there at the desk and tell them, I can't participate in this, and that be that. Guys, before I go into the other two portions of this today, on this showing so much other articles and info and things I want to share with you guys, I want to give a shout out to our channel sponsor. What will your US dollar look like once we tally up all the debt accumulated in the fight against coronavirus? What happens to our economy if Vice President Biden is elected in November? My friends, uncertainty is the enemy of investors and savers alike. Now is the time to educate yourself and protect your finances. Did you know it took nearly 8 years for the markets to recover after the '08 housing bubble crash? Yet during the crash of 2008, gold and silver surged to all-time highs. Do you really have 8 years to wait for a recovery? Several Americans use this little-known IRS qualified loophole that allows Americans to buy gold and silver with their retirement account, and the good guys at Orion Metal Exchange offer a no-fee transfer in as little as 2 days on most accounts. Bank of America and Citigroup all see gold soaring, forecasting $2,000 and $3,000 an ounce for gold, respectively. Some experts are calling for gold to double in the next year. Orion Metal Exchange is Consumer Affairs' top-rated IRA dealer. At Orion, you get more precious metals for your money. Call today or request a free investment kit below. Mention 7 Trumpets Prepper Channel and get a free 1-ounce silver coin for qualified retirement account owners. Must be over 40 to qualify. Call 866-915-5053 and get your free investment guide today. At Orion, you get more precious metals for your money every day. Guys, just want to say a shout out to Orion Metals. They have supported this content ever since we started the Hard Truth Show, and I'm thankful to all our channel sponsors that have supported us and continue to join up with us here. Now, the next group I want to talk about, man, I tell you what, I love me some Karen. Do y'all love some Karen? Man, they are the best. They are some of the finest ladies out there in society. I really think they are the top tier cream of the crop. And yes, I am being as sarcastic as I possibly can. Man, I'm going to tell y'all what. The Karens in the world today, they just seem to be... what is that where something just replicates itself? Like it just copies itself. It's like a virus, And the more and more you turn around every day, you run into this type. Now, I want to give you an example from my own experience today. Remember, I always say to you folks, we always need to go by people's actions. It's like, I love you today. I serve y'all and keep his commands today. All right, well, I want to tell you an experience at Texas Roadhouse today, as I'm filming this. And it was interesting, man, because I got this list of content to cover when I get home. I'm running it through my head. I'm like, RFID chips, I want to go over Sheeple culture, especially I seen stuff Daryl shared the other day about the flight thing. I was just going through all the stuff to add to. And then I went to Texas Roadhouse to share a dinner with my wife, and I had a gift card that we'd got at our wedding. Well, I sat down and have the meal, and I had ordered what was it I got? A margarita. It's like strawberry margarita or whatever. Frozen strawberry margarita, I believe is what I ordered. And the lady, the waitress, didn't even take the time to bring it out. And then I told her after my meal had come out, I'm like, am I going to get my drink? And so finally she delivers the alcoholic beverage. So at this point in time, I'm almost ready to leave. So, I'm kind of out of the mood for wanting the rest of it. And, of course, guys, anybody goes to Texas Roadhouse, it's pretty good size. Well, the lady comes to, get her check, stuff like that. And anyway, I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, you want a sip of this? So I just slide it over to her to get a sip of it, or whatever she wants. Of course, she's of age also. But it looks very young to certain people. So there was these 2 guys that was over there that was wait staff. And the next thing I know is the manager of the restaurant comes over and goes, hey, it's been brought to my attention, a customer, I guess, had caught you sipping or slipping alcohol to someone else, and I need to check your ID. And the whole way that this whole situation went down, the woman literally come over like, from a military term, I'd call it command presence, like, I know what's going on. This is how it is. X, Y, Z. Executing it. And I'm like, well, number one, I'll show you my ID in just a second. Because it already should have been established by the waitress. The ID situation in the beginning. I already established my ID. And secondly, is that you could have just walked over and asked for, hey, could I just see you all's ID one more time? Just checking on all this. Instead of the snitch culture, which we'll get into in just a minute, but also you see this Karen culture pouring over because it's, I know what you did. And the minute that I told her, I said, she'll show you. I paused because my wife's here, the Karen's here, because I really don't know her name, because the other staff had their name badges on, but the manager didn't have their name badge on. Way to set a standard for your staff. But anyway, so, and I don't want to run this long, guys. I'm coming to a point here. Well, anyway, the lady, I paused right between them. I'm like, she'll show you her ID in just a minute. So tell me who the concerned customer was over here, because literally you can only see like 4 people. It's like this old couple here and these other people. And no disrespect to old people. I mean, like, literally, they were an old couple and then this other couple. And everybody's mind their own business. We see them, they see us. Nobody said nothing to nobody. I am very aware of my surroundings. However, I did see the 2 staff right there, eyeballs this way. So I wanted to make sure she lied to me next. All right, well then, I proceeded to explain to her that that's no problem. Here's the ID. And now, know this, that we don't live in Nazi Germany. I don't put up with snitch culture. And we vote with our dollars now. And I won't be back. And needless to say, guys, I wrote them an email where you can share it right there for a few seconds, what I wrote them. The manager later wrote me back apologizing, saying, he'd get the manager retrained, all the normal BS garbage. But my point in case that I learned from this is, like, one of the local Texas roadhouses just went out of business. Like, they're gone. And this one's definitely on the highway to hell. And I thought to myself, I was like, it is crazy. It is so crazy that the Karen culture doesn't understand what they're doing and damaging, because that, and I'm not trying to beat up on women. I just want to make this example, and I'm actually going to back this up with fact in just a second. Actual documented fact. And from a woman, too. This is crazy, okay? It's not just a documented fact. It's a woman bringing this up. Is that I've noticed that when women get into a place of power and authority, there is something about that they have got to absolutely put the boot on the throat of, like, masculine men that just seem like we've got it together. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? It might have been the flat earth shirt that triggered it. But literally, she came over belligerent. And the minute that I bucked up at her immediately and shut that mess down right there, and then stood up, met her eye level, and told her, that's fine. We'll be leaving right now, and we're never coming back. And this is not Nazi Germany. And we vote with our dollars. And the last time I checked, and like I told them in the email there you can read, is that in the post-corona era, there's a lot of businesses, restaurants, and everywhere folding up. I live in a touristy area here, and they are folding up. So you don't get to disrespect people like you used to. But see, the problem is Karens don't get that. Just like the lady that called a long time ago about the people having a cookout, and I, called the police over people for having a cookout. Like, this time for you people, we're drawing short. We don't have time for you to put up with you anymore. There is an article in the Daily Mail. I think it's from 2009-ish. I think it's a very old article, but it's very on point. And links in the video description below if you want to go check it out. And matter of fact, Better Bachelor, Red Pill channel, if you want to check this out, actually done a video about this. I may be able to drop it in there, but it was an excellent presentation as well. Literally, this woman hired a full, all-female staff to work for her company. Okay? Now, people want to say men are sexist. Dude, this is as sexist as it gets. But it's teachable. Now, it shows you the case of the Karens that we live in nowadays. Literally, in 2 years, this company went bankrupt. The woman sold off her assets to help keep it afloat. She done all sorts of stuff. But literally, the cattiness and the Karenness, and I see Karens and everything. I see it from Texas Roadhouse today to businesses like we're talking about right now, too. Restaurant industry. This is a film business. I even see it in place of fellowship. I see it in families. It's everywhere, man. There's a Karen on every street corner anymore. And literally, they had infighting, division, the Karenism, and before long, this whole company went bankrupt. And you can't blame a man for it. You can't blame a man for it at all, because it was 100% female staff from what I understand. And they literally, emotions ran wild, condescendingness, the try to emasculate, the whole, you couldn't have the whole emasculation thing. I mean, just like all this drama constantly cooking in that cauldron. And that's what you got. And that's what I'm saying. There's a Karen in every crowd. Sheeple is everywhere. And I'm trying to sort this down, because you've got like the bulk of people out there nowadays that are in the world is Sheeple. Then you have Karens, if we're doing this on a graph, and then the snitches. Okay. So we've addressed the Sheeples. I've addressed like the Karenism. I told you a first-hand experience today, and I'm just like, guys, I don't give a flip. See, the problem with me anymore is I have come to the point where that is the minute you want to get aggressive with me, I'll go aggressive right back, because I'm not a big man. I'm like, if men, we were on a scale, this is the weakest of men, this is the strongest of men, I'd say I'm somewhere right here in the middle. So my whole mentality ever since I was in school was that if somebody wanted to get violent and bully somebody, I always seen the bullies picking on people. I was like, you know what? When it comes my turn and they start picking on me, I'm gonna fight them. I'm gonna hit them with a desk, chair, whatever I can get my hands on. Because if I don't fight, I'll be marked as a coward and weak. If I, try to avoid this confrontation, I'm probably gonna be beat up. It's to no advantage to me to try to de-escalate. So I'm at least gonna put some dents in them. Whether they beat the snot out of me, I'm going to at least take somebody down with me. And I'm not saying that's always the best mentality. De-escalation, the older I get, the more I want to de-escalate things. But see, today, that causing a scene, accusing someone, then the minute that I produced identification, it was like, oh crap, I messed up look on my face. And then I caught you lying to me. And then, I turn the tables on you, stand up, and then, call you out right there on the carpet in front of everybody, embarrass you. See, the thing is a lot of people won't do that nowadays, okay? A lot of people just won't stand up. And you see this because there's so many sheeple with the mask situation. Now, I want to go over to the next bracket of people, snitches. Now, like I said about that book, you want to check out that book, Amazon link in the video description below. Man, somebody ought to be sending me tips for all these shout-outs to all these people. I swear, man, I give y'all all this information nowadays. Well, anyway, so this book, like I told you about, breaks down the snitch culture. And we're being encouraged nowadays to snitch on one another. It is insane. Like, I'll never forget, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I was at a gas station. I was getting gas, and the thing was on there from the NSA. Now, I'm going to get into gas pumps and the hand scanners in the next video about RFID chips, so just keep this in mind, too. Let this kind of be something that we're building on here, okay? So I look at the thing as I'm pumping gas, and it says, if you see something, say something, NSA.gov or whatever. And I'm like, the freaking gas pump. Oh, and at Walmart too, mind you. This was at a Walmart gas pump, because we all know they hooked up with FEMA. Well, anyway, you move forward nowadays, and like I've noticed in YouTube, like with the flagging of videos and bullcrap like that like ever since 2017, and I can't say that it's exactly 2017, but like I've had the majority of agreement people say that it's 2017. And just because the majority agreement doesn't mean I'm right on this, guys. I don't want to ever come across that way. I'm just saying, like, from the information I have in hand, and as a content producer and etc., is that it seems to appear that ever since 2017 on YouTube, that it really started taking a fundamental change, okay? And the snitch culture on here, dude, you can say anything sideways and somebody's already flagging your content nowadays, which is why a lot of people's just done with producing content on here, guys. You look at the situation right now, and you've got like Corona in the workplace, like somebody wearing a mask. Next thing you know, they're snitching, they lost their job. Literally, I know someone that's very close to me, and I love them dearly, and they told me, because they got sick recently, and that they wouldn't go and get the Corona test, that literally, like, their workplace was going to just pretty much make that their final write-up and cut them loose, pretty much. Even though that's not written in stone in the company's manual, or anything documented written can be handed out for that. Here they are on the rocks because that they don't want to go get a coronavirus test. Why would you want to go get a test when it's been shown that the tests have been tainted? Like, who the flip wants to sign up for that? Not me. And so, there you go. Snitch and lost your job. And Facebook, there's an article about it that literally, there was people that, like all these people's fact checkers now, snitches. But, and if you go back and you look at, they work for Soros and all some of these other jokers, right? Just like Black Lives Matter protest and Antifa, people paid by George Soros, a lot of them. And you just keep looking at all this stuff. And that article that was published, that you can check the link in the video description below, highlighting in detail, the whole deal about how the media companies nowadays, like, people bringing this up. You can set your phone down, right, and have been on Facebook, and you say, man, I'd really like to have a red vase to put my roses in on my table. You will scroll your Facebook the next time, and what will be on there? Hey, suggested ad, rose-colored vase, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys. I don't know. Our own phone snitch on us. People in our workplace snitch on us. Heck, I know them. Probably them two guys snitched on me at the Texas Roadhouse today. And thought that I was sharing it with some minor. And then of course the high and mighty Karen had that blow up in her face. But what I'm saying is it's on every corner. You think this is why I think that Messiah, when he said that your enemies will be of your own house, pretty much, and it'll be family against your family against you and stuff, even in your own home. I can see that because you got to understand, it's not just a mind issue, it's not just a heart issue. It is just a whole realm of possibility. It's the whole spectrum. One day you're eating dinner together as a family. The next day they come in, they knock down the door and drag you off to a FEMA camp later down the road. And you come to find out later at the FEMA camp that it was your sister or your brother that called on you the night before you sat down to eat dinner. I mean, guys, it's the world we're living in now. You need to understand that. Now, something I want to say to this is I noticed while I was gone, and I won't bring up the place. I'll let that sleeping dog lie. There was a place I went to while I was in Florida. The police was walking down the streets with dogs, right, on chain. And people at these places now, these different stores and stuff now, if you went there, you had to have a mask, all this crazy stuff. But I just stood out in the street and watched the people. And literally somebody was enjoying their food at a restaurant. And the dog went up and started losing its mind on this person that was completely innocent, hasn't done anything wrong, was just sitting there eating their lunch. And this police dog was like a heartbeat away from chewing them out of their chair. And everybody was just calm about their business, went on about their business. Some people looked back. I mean, obviously I looked. But I'm just like, what the flip do we live anymore? I'm like, is this Nazi Germany? Are we really becoming a new version of Nazi Germany? Because, we got snitches on every corner. We got the police on every corner. We got the Karens. We got the Sheeple. We got everybody walking around in a mask. It's been an eye-opening year for me. 2020 has fundamentally opened my eyes. And not that I wasn't awake. It's just I seen things at a certain level. I'm like, wickedness is this deep. If I can scratch back the surface, I know I can mine down this far, and wickedness is this deep with people. In 2020, it's like somebody stuffed a dynamite down into the shaft of where I was digging, rolled out about 100 feet of wire, and just blew that sucker up right in front of my face. And now there is a cave. Huge. And I'm like, oh, wickedness is this deep now. And we are sliding down a deep, deep chasm, ladies and gentlemen. And you need to be woke to these people. The snitches, the Karens, the Sheeples. These people ain't nobody to be messed with, because these people, people's all the time well, the police could clap you on the street corner today. Yes, they could. Yes, they could. That is true. You could be a statistic tomorrow. And you can be any color anymore to get shot, Not saying that I don't think certain people get more crime done to them than the other. Now that by the police, for that matter, I'm not even getting into that subject right now. What I am saying is, for sure, if you have dealings with certain individuals could do certain things to you, and certain things could play out. But one thing that most people are not mindful of, and I am starting to become very, 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 very in tune to it, and I'm seeing it from more and more people pointing this out, is dealing with the culture of the sheeple. Just like D. Marble was on that flight the other day, and probably the only guy on the flight without a mask on. Not only is that going to incite people to be angry, but everybody's going to judge you. That's just the world we live in, because being woke comes at a cost, okay? The Karens. Karen's always going to be there. Dude, I mean, a lot of these women that end up being Karens, dude, they are just some of the most cluster B, toxic, disrespectful people in the world, and the only thing they can contribute to society is trying to knock you down a few blocks to make them feel better about their pathetic self. The snitches is always going to be listen, I don't care what color you're from, what ethnic you're from, where you live. There's always going to be that one joker in your community that for the right price will sell you out. There is a Judas in every single crowd. Never forget that. So, guys, that's my piece on today on the Hard Truth Show. I hope somebody got something valuable out of this. I mean, listen, this is the time for wake up right now because our culture dynamic is quickly shifting. You can learn a lot from the people that we are surrounded by right now. It is more clearer than ever. And that's all I got to say about that. So, guys, as always, till we see you again here at 7 Trump's Prepper Channel and on the Hard Truth Show, hope the Most High Yah Baruch can keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. In Yahushua name.